Superbar by user Solidsecondplace. An alarm light on the bar top began to flash. Before it flashed a second time, Demio pressed the green button. A spring-released fired a beer stein at the tap. Before the tap finished its pour, a young man opened the door, stepped inside, and closed it quickly. The sound of wind roaring outside partially covered his voice, but the smile he gave made it clear he was pleased. "Not my best time, Demio. Are you sure you didn't have a tracker on me?" Demio's easy smile in return made it clear he knew what the hero was talking about. "You know the field you generate makes tracking difficult, but I'm not above putting a proximity sensor or two out there." He slid the waiting beer to the hero. "Thanks, Magnus. I mean Demio," he quickly corrected. The old supervillain didn't bother using his other name anymore. People change. The bartender smiled back warmly. "No offense here," he said. "Do you know if Nightwalker is going to come by tonight?" Redshift looked about the den, noting the collection of crooks and cons, some retired, most not, as they sat and drank or talked with other figures. Similar groups composed of heroes and a few superheroes sat at other tables. "I'm surprised he's not here already," the hero finally said. A friendly smile caught Red's eye. He knew her from a couple incidents last year. "Maybe tonight would be a good night." "Take this to your table, please, Reggie," said Magnus in a conspiratorial whisper. Redshift made good on his name and carried the lavender-looking drink with him. Demio had barely turned back to wiping off his bar when the door slammed open again. This time, the figure in the doorway was a hero. Not one Magnus had met before, but he didn't leave his little oasis much anymore. He gave a friendly smile and opened his mouth to speak. "I'm Silver Ace, and you, Magnus, are under arrest." The smile faded. "Come in and sit down, newbie. Better talk. You can confess to the authorities once I brought you in, villain." More snickers and a few coughs from the superhero tables. The new hero let his eyes sweep across the room, but it's clear he didn't notice much. "Am I gonna have to use force?" A crimson hand, easily 5 times larger than his own, formed into a fist and launched toward the bartender. Eyes narrowing, he tore the phantasmal hand apart and slid a chair toward the posing hero. Silver Ace looked at it and wrapped it in a hazy red rope. The chair didn't move. The look of strained effort on the hero's face told everyone that he was sorely outmatched. "I don't have to be kind, stranger," a decidedly less friendly smile on his face, "but this bar is neutral. If you intend to assault me here, I will take that very personally. Think before you act, and just sit down for a minute." Maybe the new heroes aren't as smart, he thought, as the red rope snicked over to another chair. With a sigh and a few movements that were carefully, if covertly, watched, the bartender moved the hero and his mystic ropes over and then onto the first chair he had used. He never touched the newbie, and the second chair slid reversed and sat in front of the first. Demio stepped over and sat backwards on the chair, facing the struggling hero. "Before you speak again, look. Really look at the bar's patrons." I don't have to." Then he actually did look, and a wave of confusion, anger, and finally embarrassment washed over him. I don't understand," he finally said. "You've been to church. You understand neutral ground. Can't fight here? I won't allow it. If not me, then another in this room." Most had already judged the efforts of the captive. He could have hurt Magnus short of a miracle. "I won't ban you, though I'm definitely within my rights should I want to. You know how monumentally stupid pressing your attack here on neutral ground is?" At the same time as he opened his mouth to rebut the words, the door opened again. Nightwalker looked in, looked over the hero, then looked at me. "I'm not with him," he said. "Does he know you own this island?" Demio smiled, or that technically he's violated your sovereign country. Another smile, that he's fair game. Demio focused back on Ace. The newbie began to look pale. Thanks for listening. Feel free to leave a comment about anything that you would want me to narrate, and I'll see if I can do that.